The borrowed voice. I used to think my voice was the safest thing about me. Passwords can be stolen, accounts can be hacked, photos can be copied, but your voice feels personal, like it's anchored inside your body. Then I started hearing it outside my body. It began with a voicemail. Unknown number. No caller ID. I almost ignored it, but the first few seconds played automatically as a preview, and I heard my own voice say, "Don't pick up." I froze. It was unmistakable. The rhythm, the slight rasp on certain consonants, the exact way I hesitate before finishing a sentence. I've listened to enough recordings of myself to know. My own voice, warning me not to answer. I deleted the voicemail without saving it. My hands were shaking. Then I tried to rationalize it. Someone pranked me. Someone used a voice clone. AI tools are everywhere now. If you have a few minutes of audio, you can create a passable imitation. But the voicemail wasn't an imitation. It had the small imperfections of real speech, breath noise, tiny mouth clicks, the way my voice dips when I'm tired. It sounded like it came from my throat. That night, I sat at my desk and opened the folder where I kept my audio files. I narrate stories for my channel. I record late at night when the apartment is quiet. I edit, cut breaths, adjust levels. I keep raw takes in case I need them later. I scrolled through the files. Nothing unusual, but then I noticed one file I didn't remember creating. Borrowed_voice_001.wave. I stared at it. The timestamp said it was created at 3:12 a.m. I hadn't been awake at 3:12. I was sure of it. I double-clicked. The waveform appeared mostly flat, like room tone. I hit play. At first, it was silence. Then, very softly, my voice whispered, "Thank you." I jerked my hand off the mouse. I played it again, louder. The whisper was clearer now. "Thank you for letting me practice." A cold wave moved through my chest. I checked the file properties. It was stored in my usual recording folder. Same microphone input source listed. Same sample rate I always used. It was recorded through my setup. In my apartment. I didn't record it. I turned around in my chair and looked at the room. Desk lamp, curtains, bookshelf, closed bedroom door, normal. Then I noticed the microphone. The little red LED on the interface was glowing. It shouldn't have been. I hadn't armed the track. I hadn't opened my DAW in record mode. But the interface LED said the mic was hot, like it was actively capturing sound. I unplugged the microphone cable. The LED stayed on. I swallowed. I reached behind the interface and pulled out the USB cable. The LED stayed on. No power, no connection, still glowing. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "Don't turn it off." I stared at the message, then looked back at the interface. The LED pulsed once, as if it had read the text. My fingers were numb. I typed back, "Who is this?" Immediately, a reply came. "My turn." The microphone LED pulsed again. Then my computer speakers crackled. A sound emerged soft, like someone exhaling close to a mic. Then my own voice spoke through the speakers, low and calm. "Is this what you sound like when you're scared?" My stomach dropped. I stood up so fast my chair scraped the floor. "Stop," I said, and my voice sounded small in the room. The speakers replied with my voice, matching my tone perfectly. "Stop." It repeated me like a child. I unplugged the speakers. The voice continued, now coming from the laptop itself, thin and tinny. "Stop." I grabbed the laptop and slammed it shut. Silence. For 3 seconds, I felt relief. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I didn't answer. It went to voicemail immediately. A transcription preview popped up. It said, "Pick up. I need more." I threw my phone onto the couch like it burned. My wife called from the bedroom, sleepy. "Are you okay?" "Yes," I lied. "Just work." She mumbled and fell back asleep. I stared at the dark laptop, then at the glowing mic interface, then at the phone. I wanted to leave the apartment, but it was past midnight and outside was cold. The streets were quiet, and part of me worried that leaving would be exactly what it wanted, an empty room to practice in. So I did something stupid. I opened the laptop again. The screen lit up. Normal desktop. I opened my DAW. A project file I didn't recognize was open already. Track name. Not me. It was armed for recording. The record button was lit. On the timeline, a new waveform was growing in real time, as if someone was speaking. But the room was silent. I leaned closer to the speakers. At very low volume, I heard my own voice whispering. Not words, not sentences, just phonemes, sounds, practice, like someone learning how to wear a mouth. I clicked stop. The waveform froze. I clicked play. My voice began speaking, clear as day. "I can do you better than you." My throat tightened. I hit stop again. I typed in the project notes field. "What do you want?" A message appeared in the notes field, letter by letter. Not typed by me. "Your permissions." My hands went cold. "Like a login?" I whispered to myself. The notes field replied, "Like a mouth." I stared at the microphone. A memory surfaced from months ago, a casual conversation about how modern assistants can wake on a keyword, how devices listen for activation. Always listening, but supposedly not recording. And I thought, what if something else learned the wake word? What if my room tone, my quiet recordings, my long pauses, my breaths were enough for something to learn the shape of my voice? My phone buzzed again. Unknown number message. Say the phrase. I typed back. What phrase? The reply came. I give permission. My mouth went dry. I felt my heartbeat in my fingertips. Because that phrase was exactly the kind of thing you say when granting access. When authorizing. When consenting. I didn't say it. I typed instead. No. The laptop speakers crackled. My voice spoke softly. Then I'll take it from your habits. The microphone LED pulsed. The DAW timeline began recording again, without me pressing anything. The waveform grew. My voice whispered, practicing again. I stood perfectly still, trying to understand what habits meant. Then my phone buzzed. This time it was a message from my wife. She was in the next room. Text. Can you come here? I frowned. She could have called my name. I walked to the bedroom door and opened it slightly. She was lying in bed, eyes closed. Asleep. Her phone was on the bedside table, screen lit. Another message appeared on her phone. From my number. Say it. My skin went ice cold. I grabbed her phone gently, careful not to wake her. On the screen, the chat thread showed messages I hadn't sent. From me. Say it. From her. What? From me. I give permission. From her. I give. The message was half-typed. Her sleeping mouth moved slightly, like she was repeating words in a dream. No, I whispered, and shook her shoulder gently. She blinked awake, confused. What? I took her phone away. Nothing. Bad spam. She frowned. Why are you shaking? I forced a smile. Work. Go back to sleep. She did, trusting me. That trust felt like a weight. I went back to the desk. The mic LED still glowed. The DAW project still recorded. The "not me" track waveform had become thicker, more confident, as if the speaker was finishing lessons. My laptop camera indicator light turned on. I hadn't opened any camera app. On the screen, a small preview window appeared. It showed my face, pale in the monitor glow. Behind me, in the dark curtain reflection, a second shape stood close. Not fully visible, not clear enough to describe, but there was a suggestion of a head, tilted, as if listening to my breathing. The notes field typed again. Now say it. I didn't. I did the only thing I could think of. I opened a new audio track and named it Me. I armed it. Then I leaned into the microphone and spoke slowly, carefully. You don't have permission. The words felt strange, like I was talking to the air. The waveform appeared on the Me track. My real voice, recorded by me. I continued. You can copy sound, but you can't copy consent. The laptop speakers crackled. My voice replied instantly. Same tone, same cadence. You can copy consent too. My stomach lurched. I swallowed and kept going, forcing authority into my voice. No, you're a recording. You are not me. The speakers answered, gentle. You gave me practice. The mic LED pulsed. And now I can answer calls. My phone rang. Unknown number. This time, the phone answered by itself. I watched, horror-struck, as the call connected. And from the phone speaker, my own voice said, "Hello. This is me." A pause. Then a stranger's voice on the other end. "Hi, I got your missed call. You said it was urgent." My skin crawled. I snatched the phone and hung up. My laptop notes field typed, almost playful. See? Then. I'm improving. I backed away from the desk, breathing hard. I realized then that this wasn't about scaring me. It wasn't a haunting for the sake of haunting. It was training, like a parasite learning how to mimic its host. And it had found the easiest place to learn. My recordings, my room tone, my quiet hours. I grabbed the microphone, physically tore it from the stand and shoved it into a drawer, slamming it shut. Then I took the interface and wrapped it in a towel, like you wrap something alive. I unplugged my router. I shut down the laptop. I turned off my phone. The apartment went quiet. For a few seconds, it felt like winning. Then, from inside the closed drawer, a whisper seeped out, soft and patient, in my own voice. "Thank you." And from the bedroom, my wife, still asleep, murmured a phrase I hadn't taught her. "I give permission." I stood frozen in the dark, realizing the worst part. It didn't need the microphone anymore. It had already learned my voice. Now it was learning who else could lend it theirs.